Let's look. Okay. My goal is to also give you enough time to do all the classwork in class. So let's be on point with this. This is back to 241, so we're starting the new lesson here. But we're going to review and go over this stuff next week. Next Friday, we'll test on this stuff, okay? Interpreting the graphs of functions. This has just a lot of vocab to it, okay? And the elements that are up here are the ones we got to cover in the standard. And I'm going to limit to what you're going to be doing on the homework is going to just be what's up on the board. We already know our intercepts, right? I put a check, but I put a double check. We know that, like an interception, where does the function cross the y-axis? Y-intercept. Where does it cross the x-axis? X-intercept. Pretty straightforward, right? Okay. So yeah, we got that one down. We've been doing that one for a little bit with graphing lines. Now, increasing. Remember, everything in math is reading from left to right. Everything in math is just like reading. It's always from left to right. What's happening left to right. Equations are written left to right. The variables are ordered left to right. Everything is always just like you read. So if I'm going left to right, am I going uphill or downhill right now? Uphill. Who loves riding their bikes uphill? Nobody. Me neither. It's okay sometimes. I like to change it up, but when it's like uphill for like 20 minutes, you're doing mountain biking, you're like, this sucks.
I like using downhill.
See, me too. As long as you don't crash. Yeah. All right, so positive slope, going uphill, left to right. How about left to right here, going uphill or downhill? Down, so it's decreasing, okay? It's always left to right. If you get confused, left to right, just like reading. Left to right. Okay. Now, a continuous line is like this. It's a line that continues. It doesn't have any stopping points, or a line segment that doesn't have any stopping points between a certain window. This is not continuous because it has what? It has breaks. Over here, it's going down here, and this section is just a line segment, and then here we got a ray going up in that direction. Okay, so it's just, we would call this non-continuous, discontinuous, but a continuous is just where it's a straight line, a straight line segment. You see how that's just broken up? It's not continuous, right? It's all jaggedy. So I cross that out. That's what we're not going for. That's not continuous. That is continuous, okay? Now, the extrema are just talking about, an extrema is a max or a min. When I say what's the extrema, maybe there's only a min. You would just say the min. So extrema is kind of like the bigger topic over either it's a max or it's a min, okay? So we're always looking from, as far as our y values are going, which one is my minimum? It's the one that is down lower, right here. And this would be a relative minimum because we only have this bit to look at. But for now, you can keep it as the minimums are lower, the max is up higher. Intuitive, right? I feel like each part of this is intuitive if you remember like one little rule about it. Left to right, reading. So this is up, that's down, increasing, decreasing. Continuous would be no breaks, that has breaks. X, y-intercept, the max is higher, the minimum's lower. Okay. Domain, and this is the one where, this is actually the last topic today. And I want to show you something on Desmos right now, because if this was photobombed, you're trying to take this picture with a friend, and this guy jumped in here, and here's maybe 0, here's 1, here's 2, here's 3, here's 4. If I need to crop the domain, everybody think of cropping a picture on your phone. If I'm cropping the domain, I'm just cropping these two. You've seen these little symbols? Everyone know what those symbols are? How you can move, cut from left to right, squish it down so you only, not change the aspect ratio, but just crop it. I want to cut this guy out. So if I want to cut this guy out, what do I need to move this other boundary to? To 2. So crop it right here. That looks pretty good.
Or you can do it at 1.
You could do it at 1 or 2 or 1.5. That's there, so we'll keep it at 2. Now the domain, you're going to restrict it to. The domain is like cropping the pic, and the domain is what we want to keep. Okay, it's what we want to keep. So this would be, I'd have a hard bracket because I can include 2. It's from 2 to what? 4. The hard bracket means the endpoint is included. The open bracket, which are parentheses, means we don't count the endpoints. Okay. So let's peek up here, and I hope we'll be able to see it. Not the duck bunny. This. Okay. So you're with some friends, and they went to Peru on a student trip. Hey, come on now. And the llama was in your backseat. And you didn't freak out. You're just like, ah, what a cute llama. But we need to crop this picture. We need to crop this picture. And where should we crop it? Do we want to keep the llama or do we want to keep the person? Of course. And I had set up all the domains to keep the people, so I'm going to have to change some of them because every single picture, people I want to keep the squirrel. I want to keep the guy jumping into the picture. Okay, so we'll do that. So let's see. This is 0. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You think 8? So we would go in from this side. We'd crop this picture to 8. And then maybe this one to 13. Just leave it like that, huh? So I'll leave it here at like 13 and a half because it doesn't go all the way to 14. I can see a little line there. So let's see what happens. If you're cropping the picture, you're saying, what do I want to keep? The domain is what you want to keep. So essentially we're finding the domain of this llama. And I'm going to go ahead and change it from, what'd you guys say, 8? I have to do it in inequality notation here, but we're going to use brackets. Let's see, and then 13, I'm going to say it's like 0.8 or so. All right, let's see, 3, 2, 1. Did we crop what we wanted? Let's see. And if I zoom out, you see it crops everything between those two. You're only able to crop right now between, let me see if I can do this backwards. Oh, look at that. No, I can't do it. You want to crop right now the domains, so we're just doing the side to side, the x values. If I was going to crop the range, I would be able to do what the limit is on the top and bottom. But we're not doing that right now. We're just cropping from side to side on the outside edges. Okay, so this would be a domain right here. This would be the domain of, let's see, we're including the points, so it's going to be closed bracket from 8 to 13.8. That's for the llama. Okay, let's just do a couple. So let's see what else we got. What are you guys in the mood for? Let's try this one. All right, you're hanging out with one of your siblings, and you're ready to take a picture, but guess who photobombs your picture? Cute squirrel. Should we keep the squirrel or the people?
The squirrel.
Of course. I think it's a pretty good upper boundary because remember we're just squishing it in, not squishing. We're cropping it in. Would you say the right boundary is at 0?
Yeah.
-1, -2, -3, -4, -5, -6. What do you think? All right, I hear more 6s. So we're going to go lower limit is going to be -6. Upper limit? 0. Let's see if that works. Is that what I had? I think the last period thought it was -5. Let's go -6. All right, 3, 2, 1. Did we crop? So just what's overlapped there is what we would crop to. We would bring it in and crop all the way so that it was just, this was all we saw in the picture. You see that we would just have the squirrel. You see? So if that was for the squirrel, I would go lower limit. I'm including this point, -6. Upper limit, 0. You guys see it? Okay. So finding the domain, just like cropping a pic, it is helpful to think of it that way. I'll do one more for you guys, and then we will finish up pretty quick. No. How about that one? So you're with your family members you haven't seen in 20 years. You're on this like beach, and you're really interested in getting a good family picture because you never see these people. But then this dude just is like, he's excited to be in this picture. He really wants to be in the picture. So do we crop? Are we going to crop and restrict that domain to include the guy jumping or the family? Of course. Of course, you guys want to keep the parts of every picture. All right, so let's see. Let's look at the laser here. It looks like the very lower limit is -5 right here. We got to probably keep that whole bit. It'd be nice if the picture went a little more over. We'd make it nicer. We're going to go -5, -4, -3, -2, -1. Maybe it's in here somewhere. -1.5. All right, let's see. So that actually was what the last class said too. Perfect. All right, let's see. 3, 2, 1. Did we get it?
Yeah.
We got it. Okay, and again, if you zoomed out, you'd see that all the values between that domain are included. I can go all the way up here because those points are still included because I've said the domain is between here and here, and it's really just I've only found the domain coming from left to right on the x-axis. I haven't said anything about the y values yet, but we could crop down, right? You guys have these, but what do you have on top? What do you have in the corner? Ways to crop the picture differently. But right now we're just looking from x side to side. Okay. Thumbs up, sideways down for that. Good. Who's calling me? Stop. All right. So let's go ahead and bring our attention back up here. We'll do a couple quick questions, and you guys will have, yes, about 25 minutes. That's good. All right. I just want you to help me right here. I want you to help me point out what is what. Let's see. Where is the point that is our x-intercept? What is the point? Okay. -1, 0 right here, right? That's where it intersects the x-axis. Okay. How about the y-axis? Where do we find that? 0, +1. You guys have already worked on that. That's not so tricky to notice because it's just like x-intercept. Where does it intercept the x-axis? Y-intercept. Where does the y? So here are 2 points for those. All right. Is this increasing or decreasing? Tell your neighbor. How do we read? We read from left to right. What do you think, Jude? What do you think? Increasing. Everybody say that? Increasing. Oh, wow. I meant to say, did everybody say that? But I said everyone say that. Will you guys say anything that I tell you to say? Yes. I'm going to try it. All right. We have a relative minimum, which is just within this, because the function is limited here. Where is our minimum? Remember, it's talking up and down. Where's our minimum? Right there. That's lower than our maximum at 1, 2, 3. It's actually up there. It's just up and down. Oh, I see. 2, 3. You're right. I hear you now. Everyone say, I hear you now.
I hear you now.
This is amazing. What power. All right, so this is your screen. When you have a picture, you push edit. You do that little, the little box thing with the arrow, and it has the cropping features come up. Again, we're not cropping up and down. We're looking for the domain, so we are looking at what we want to. I want you to tell your neighbor, what is the domain going to be? Is it going to be closed, hard brackets, or soft brackets like parentheses? Tell your neighbor, from where to where, as far as our x values, side to side, where do we need to crop this? Tell your neighbor. What's your lower limit? What's your upper limit? All right, I'm going to ask, wait a minute. There's a couple people I haven't called on ever. Oh. Okay. Jeez, it's hard to remember names. Right on here. Katie, help us out. Help us out. What is the lower limit? So, where do I want to squish it in here on the lower side? You guys so negative 2 is going to be in there. What's the upper limit? 1 right here. You see, that'll get the entire bit in there. Now here's the deal. If this was open dot, I would do an open parenthesis as my bracket here, because it would not include the actual point at negative 2. But it's closed dot, so what kind of brackets should I put around negative 2 and 1? What kind of brackets should I put? Should I put parentheses or the hard brackets? Hard brackets, because it says that negative 2 is a part of the domain. Negative 2 could be where the function is located. Again, if it was open dot, it'd be soft bracket. Open dot, remember, says that that point is not a part of the function. It goes up to that point and then doesn't quite get there. So we're going to do hard brackets around them. So this is not x and y. When you're talking about the domain, it's just talking about the lower, this is good to write, and the upper. The lower and the upper limits. Where are you going to crop our pictures? Where are you going to crop the function? Is the same exact thing. It's almost like this is the squirrel right here in the middle. So where do you get the squirrel? Lower limit to upper limit, always in that direction like that. Okay. Thumbs up, sideways, down. What do you say? Good. That's how we wanted our Friday lesson. All right. Let's give a nice loud subscribe on 3. Like really get it out. All the energy you have from a Friday. Okay. Subscribe on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Subscribe!
Yes. Some people had more energy than others.